Hi, so this is going to be part 2 of the video where we go over the Chapter 3 study guide. And I went back to page 203 so I could read and slow down just a little bit. So it says, Mia's house is located at point 3,4. So 3,4 on a coordinate plane, which would be 1, 2, 3, your x first, 1, 2, 3, 4, up here in the positive space. The location of Keisha's house is a reflection of the location of Maya's house across the y-axis. Here's our y-axis. And a reflection happening across the y-axis will bring our point over here. What is the quadrant that Keisha's house is in? So this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2. So she is in quadrant 2. Okay, the next one says, let's get in there so you can see it. Points A, 3, 8. So we go over 3, up 8, and B, -4, 8, are located on a coordinate plane. Graph the pair of points and then find the distance between them. Use numbers and words to explain your answer. So even though here we are going a -4 spots, it's 4 away from 0, so it's an absolute value of 4 when trying to find that location, plus the absolute value of the 3 positive, which will give us 7 units is the distance between those 2 points. Okay. The map shows the location of J of Jose's house and the location F of the football field. Jose is going to Tyrell's house, and then the two of them are going to the football field for practice. Tyrell's house is located at point T. The reflection of the point J across the y-axis. What are the coordinates of all 3 of these points? So first we need to find T, Tyrell's house, and here's the y-axis. So we need a reflection across the y-axis, which will bring us over here. So if we went to get to J, we went -6, we would have to go +6 here, and then up 8. So +6, so it would be a 6, 8 point. This one would be a -6, 8 point. And this one here is going to be over 6, and it's a -5. So here are the points that you should have listed. Part B, if each unit on the map represents 1 block, what's the distance Tyrell traveled to the football field? And what was the distance Jose traveled to the football field? Use numbers and words to explain your answer. So here we have Tyrell's house. So first, Tyrell just went from his house to the football field. So if let's do Tyrell with a T. That would take us, he is up here at 8. So we would go 8 blocks, 8 plus, getting down here to the football field was a -5. So we're going to do the absolute value of -5, which would be 13 blocks. That is what Tyrell had to travel. And then if we look at the distance that Jose had to travel, he traveled those 13 blocks, plus he traveled from here to here. He had to go over here to Tyrell's house first. So here we have our -6. So I'll take the absolute value of that -6 plus how far it would take to get from here to here, which is a +6. So we have 12 plus 13 equals 25 blocks. That's the distance he traveled to get to the football field. All right. For numbers 11A through 11D, choose yes or no to indicate whether the solution could be represented by the integer +3. A football team gains 3 yards on a play. Yes, that would be +3. A golfer's score is 3 over par. Yes, that could be a +3. Remember, golfers want a low score, so that one sometimes does confuse people because, but par could be 2, and if it's 3 over par, that would be 5. So you are gaining points when you actually want your score lower to win. And then a student answers a 3-point question correctly and gets those 3 points. That would be a yes. And a cat loses 3 pounds. That would be a no because that would be a -3. All right, moving on to number 12. Jason used a map to record the elevations of these 5 locations. He wrote the elevations in order from lowest to highest. Is Jason correct? Use words and numbers to explain why or why not. If Jason is incorrect, what is the correct order? So let's put these in order the way we think we should put them in first. And he is putting them from lowest to highest. So remember, the most negative is the lowest. So this is the order we should have them in. And he does not have he has them just in order of the number, and he's totally ignoring the negative sign. So it is not correct. This should be the answer. Looking at the negative, the most negative numbers are the lowest. For numbers 13a through 13d, choose true or false. 1/5 is between 0 and 1. Remember, any fractional part that does not have a mixed number or is not an improper fraction is representing a part between 0 and 1. So that is true. So this actually, if we had a number line, we have a 0, a -1, a -2, and a -3. Between a -1 and a -2 would be in this area. And this is a -2 and 2/3, which would be closer to the -3. So that is false. All right, this one is true, that yes, this a little over 3 is between -3 and -4. And this one is actually closer to a 5. It's bigger than the 4, so that would be false. All right, here we're going to look at these and compare them. So we know that 3/4 is like 3/4 is like 75 hundredths, and that is larger. So we're going to this point to the smaller number. 25 hundredths is less than 75 hundredths. B, 1/3 is the same as 0.3 repeating, so it'd be like 0.333. 3 here in the hundredths place is bigger than the 2, so that is the one we'd have the mouth open to. So 1/3 is greater than 325 thousandths. Okay, these are equal. We could find that out by sticking the bottom out and dividing, and then adding that whole number 2 back in. So you would get a 2.875 for that decimal. So that is equal. Here we have a -3/4, 0.75, and this one a -0.5. And this is larger because it's closer to the 0. This is a little larger if it was positive, so it's going to be further to the negative side, which makes it smaller. Okay, graph a 4 and a -4 on the number line. Tyler says that they both have an absolute value of 4. Is he correct? Yes, he is. They're both 4 units away from 0. Therefore, -4 and +4, when you take their absolute value, will be a +4. Remember, it looks like this. +4. Okay, so describing these debts. Lindsay has a debt of $20. Will has a debt of $15. Lindsay owes more money. She is more in debt. If she has a debt of $20, that's a -20. Explain how to graph points A, B, and C on the coordinate plane, and then explain how to graph T so that A, B, C, and D is a square. So let's go ahead and draw a coordinate plane here for us to do that work. The first point is a -3, 0. The next point is a 0, 0. Then we have a 0, -3. And so we will need a point right here in order to complete that. So it would be, we always do the x-axis first, be a -3 on the x-axis, then a -3 on the y-axis, and that point would be D is equal to a 3, 3. -3, -3. Make sure you have those negative signs because that is in the third quadrant. Both of those should be negative. All right, and then point A is 2, -3 is reflected across the x-axis to point B. So let's first find it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we have a 2, -3 point down here. We're reflecting it across the x-axis. Point B is reflected across the y-axis. So here, this is point A. Point B is up here. So this, if we went down a -3, this would be at 2, +3. and then that would be our point B. And then it says point B is reflected across this y-axis to point C. What are the coordinates of point C? So first we look, if we went a positive 2 here, we must go to the negative 2, which is our x coordinate. And then we went up 3, 1, 2, 3 for these 2 points. So it would be a negative 2, comma 3 is our point C. So a couple reflections there. All right. You don't have to write those little spot arrows in. I'm just putting them in so I can kind of show you where to go. All right, good luck. Make sure you study that and take that home to your parents and get ready for your test. See you soon.